This is the summary of Rich Dad Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. Point number 1. The rich don't work for money. If you want to be rich, you have to learn how to make money. Use your head. Being able to know when to make quick decisions is an important skill. If you learn life's lessons, you will do well. If not, life will just continue to push you around. People do two things. Some just let life push them around. Others get angry and push back. But they push back against their boss or their job or their husband or wife. They do not know it's life that's pushing. If you realize that you're the problem, then you can change yourself. Learn something and grow wiser. Most people want everyone else in the world to change but themselves. Let me tell you, it's easier to change yourself than everyone else. So lesson 1 is the poor and the middle class don't work for money. The rich have money work for them. True learning takes energy, passion, or burning desire. Anger is a big part of that formula, for passion is anger and love combined. When it comes to money, most people want to play it safe and feel secure. So passion does not direct them, fear does. Most people given more money only get into more debt, simply because it's easier to learn to work for money, especially if fear is your primary emotion when the subject of money is discussed. Just know that it's fear that keeps most people working at a job. The fear of not paying their bills, the fear of being fired, the fear of not having enough money, the fear of starting over. That's the price of studying to learn a profession or trade, and then working for money. Most people become a slave to money, and then get angry at their boss. Most people have a price, and they have a price because of human emotions named fear and greed. First, the fear of being without money motivates us to work hard, and then once we get that paycheck, greed or desire starts us thinking about all wonderful things money can buy. The pattern is set. The pattern of get up, go to work, pay bills, get up, go to work, pay bills. Their lives are then run forever by two emotions, fear and greed. Offer them more money, and they continue the cycle by also increasing their spending. This is the rat race. People also work for money because of desire. They desire money for the joy they think it can buy. But the joy that money brings is often short-lived, and they soon need more money for more joy, more pleasure, more comfort, more security. So they keep working thinking money will soothe their souls that is troubled by fear and desire. But money cannot do that. The sooner you forget about needing a paycheck, the easier your adult life will be. Keep using your brain, work for free, and soon your mind will show you ways of making money far beyond what you could have ever get paid. You will see things that other people never see. Opportunities right in front of their noses. Most people never see these opportunities because they're looking for money and security. So that's all they get. The moment you see one opportunity, you will see them for the rest of your life. Point number 2. Why teach financial literacy? Most people fail to realize that in life, it's not how much money you make, it's how much money you keep. So when people ask, where do I get started? Or tell me how to get rich, the only answer is, if you want to be rich, you need to be financially literate. Now, accounting is possibly the most boring subject in the world. It also could be the most confusing. But if you want to be rich, long term, it could be the most important subject. The question is, how do you take a boring and confusing subject and teach it to the kids? The answer is, make it simple. Teach it first in pictures. Rule 1. You must know the difference between an asset and a liability, and buy assets. If you want to be rich, this is all you need to know. It is rule number 1. It is the only rule rich people acquire assets. The poor and middle class acquire liabilities, but they think they are assets. Here is how you tell a difference between an asset and a liability. An asset is something that puts money in my pocket. A liability is something that takes money out of my pocket. This is really all you need to know. If you want to be rich, simply spend your life buying assets. If you want to be poor or middle class, spend your life buying liabilities. It's not knowing the difference that causes most of the financial struggle in the real world. There is flaw in thinking of so many people. The flaw is that money will solve all problems. More money will often not solve the problem. In fact, it may actually accelerate the problem. Money only accelerates the actual cash flow pattern running in your head. If your pattern is to spend everything you get, most likely an increase in cash will just result in an increase in spending. Because students leave school without financial skills, millions of educated people pursue their profession successfully, but later find themselves struggling financially. They work harder but don't get ahead. What is missing from their education is not how to make money, but how to spend money, what to do after you make it. Is house an asset or a liability? When it comes to houses, I point out that most people work all their lives paying for a home they never own. In other words, most people buy a new house every so many years, each time incurring a new 30-year loan pay of the previous one. Even though people receive a tax deduction for interest and mortgage payments, they pay for all their other expenses with after-tax dollars, even after they pay off their mortgage. The greatest losses of all are those from missed opportunities. If all your money is tied up in your house, you may be forced to work harder because your money continues blowing out of the expense column, instead of adding to the asset column, the classic middle class cash flow pattern. The end result is in making a decision to own a house that is too expensive in lieu of starting an investment portfolio early on impacts an individual in at least the following three ways. Number 1, loss of time during which other assets could have grown in value. Number 2, loss in additional capital, which could have been invested instead of paying for high maintenance expenses related directly to the home. Number 3, loss of education. Too often people count their house savings and retirement plans as all they have in their asset column. Because they have no money to invest, they simply do not invest. Point number 3, mind your own business. Most people work for everyone else but themselves. They work first for the owners of the company, then for the government through taxes, and finally for the bank that owns their mortgage. Secret number 3 of the rich: mind your own business. Financial struggle is often directly the result of people working all their life for someone else. Many people will have nothing at the end of their working days. Our current education system focuses on preparing today's youth to get good jobs by developing scholastic skills. They study to become engineers, scientists, cooks, police, officers, artists, writers, and so on. These professional skills allow them to enter the workforce and work for money. There is a big difference between your profession and your business. When asked people, what is your business? And they will say, oh, I'm a banker. Then I ask them if they own the bank, and they usually respond, no, I work there. A problem with school is that you often become what you study. So if you study, say, cooking, you become a chef. If you study law, you become an attorney. And the study of auto mechanics make you a mechanic. The mistake in becoming what you study is that too many people forget to mind their own business. They spend their lives minding someone else's business and making that person rich. To become financially secure, a person needs to mind their own business. Your business revolves around your asset column, as opposed to your income column. The rich focus on their asset column, while everyone else focuses on their income statements. Start minding your own business. Keep your daytime job, but start buying real assets, not liabilities or personal effects that have no real value once you get them home. A new car nearly loses 25% of the price you pay for it the moment you drive it off the lot. It is not a true asset even if your banker lets you list it as one. For young people who have not yet left home, it is important for parents to teach them the difference between an asset and a liability. Get them to start building a solid asset column before they leave home, get married, buy a house, have kids, and get stuck in a risky financial position, clinging to a job and buying everything on credit. Point number 4, the history of taxes and power of corporations. The real reality is that rich are not taxed. It's the middle class who pays for the poor, especially the educated upper income middle class. Historically in England and America, taxes were initially levied against only the rich. The idea of taxes was made popular and accepted by majority by telling the poor and the middle class that taxes were created only to punish the rich. This is how the masses voted for the law, and it became constitutionally legal. Although it was intended to punish the rich, in reality, it wound up punishing the very people who voted for it, the poor and the middle class. Once government got a taste of money, the appetite grew. The problem was that government's appetite for money was so great that taxes soon needed to be levied on middle class, and from there it kept trickling down. The rich, on the other hand, saw an opportunity. They do not play by the same set of rules. It is the knowledge of the power of the legal structure of corporation that really gives the rich a vast advantage over the poor and the middle class. It seemed to me that the socialists ultimately penalized themselves due to the lack of financial education. No matter what the take from the rich crowd came up with, the rich always found a way to outsmart them. That is how taxes were eventually levied on the middle class. The rich outsmarted the intellectuals solely because they understood the power of money, a subject not taught in schools. Every time people try to punish the rich don't simply comply, they react. They not just sit there and voluntarily pay more taxes. Point number 5. Work to learn. Don't work for money. Most people need only to learn and master one more skill and their income would jump exponentially. I have mentioned before that financial intelligence is a synergy of accounting, investing, marketing, and law. Combine those 4 technical skills and making money with money is easier. When it comes to money, the only skill most people know is to work hard. The hardest part is running a company, is managing people. If you're not a good leader, you'll get a shot in the back. I recommend to young people to seek work for what they will learn, more than what they will earn. Look down the road at what skills they want to acquire before choosing a specific profession and before getting trapped in the rat race. If you're unwilling to learn something new and insist on instead becoming highly specialized with your field, make sure the company you work for is unionized. Labor unions are designed to protect specialists. Many corporations find a young bright student out of business school and begin grooming that person to someday take over the company. So these bright young employees do not specialize in one department. They are moved from department to learn all the aspects of business systems. The rich often groom their children or the children of others by doing so. The children gain an overall knowledge of the operations of business and how the various departments interrelate. Thank you for listening to this audio summary. If you like the summary and want more free summaries like this, you can subscribe to my channel below. And if you want to support 10x reading, then you can buy the book from the link in the description. Thank you.